I was living inside a rusted storage unit, eating cold soup from a can, when I found a briefcase with my own name on it. 6 months earlier, I had a husband, 2 kids, a home full of laughter, and a career I loved. Then my sister took it all. My name is Claire Bennett, and this is how losing everything saved my life. I was married to Dylan Marsh, a charming project manager, and we had 2 kids, Tyler and Ava. I worked at Falls Creek Architecture, where my sister Vanessa also worked. One Thursday, an anonymous email showed me a photo of Dylan and Vanessa kissing behind our office. When I confronted Dylan, he barely apologized. Days later, my boss told me the company was going in a different direction, and Vanessa was taking my job. Dylan filed for divorce, took the house and the kids, and texted me that I would die poor and alone, while Vanessa raised my children better than I ever could. Within weeks, my savings vanished into legal fees. My job severance was revoked over false misconduct claims Vanessa had arranged, and my card got declined at the grocery store. I ended up sleeping in my car, then moved into a small storage unit, Unit 14C, heating soup on a camping stove and washing up at a gas station. One night, after selling my wedding ring for gas money, I found an old cracked briefcase hidden behind a broken chair, tagged with my own name. Inside, once I forced the lock, were stacks of cash and a note in Shaky. Familiar handwriting signed by Uncle Walter, my late father's estranged brother, who vanished into the mountains years earlier and was thought to have lost his mind. The note said the cash was only travel money and that the real fortune, along with the truth about my father's death, waited at coordinates in Montana. I drove nearly 1,000 miles. Following the coordinates down a hidden dirt road to a modern cabin hidden behind a boulder shaped like a bear's head. Inside, the walls were covered with photos, clippings, and red string connecting names and dates, like a detective's wall. I found evidence that my father had been murdered decades earlier over mineral rights he refused to sell to Gordon Prescott, Dylan's father, who went on to build Prescott Industries. I found photos and a recorded tape proving Vanessa had been groomed for years by Gordon to seduce Dylan and destroy our family, so they could inherit the rights through my children. Underneath the desk was a sealed envelope containing Walter's will, leaving me everything, including full ownership of the Bennett mineral rights, worth over $80 million, plus a USB drive holding decades of evidence, bribed judges, hidden offshore accounts, and emails proving the affair had been planned long before I ever found out. Walter's letter told me I could take the money and disappear, or use the evidence and expose them, warning that the truth would cost me peace before it gave me freedom. I called the FBI. It took 5 months of secrecy, working with Agent Diane Coulter before the case was ready. Then one morning, I watched the news and saw Dylan, Gordon, and Vanessa all being arrested on live television, as Prescott Industries was raided for fraud and a decades-long cover-up. At the trial, I testified to everything: the affair, the storage unit, the cabin, the recordings. When they played the tape of Vanessa's own voice admitting she had earned my trust on purpose, the courtroom gasped. Dylan's lawyer tried to paint me as unstable for living in a storage unit, and I told him plainly that his client was the reason I had nothing left. The jury convicted Dylan to 18 years for fraud and conspiracy, and Vanessa to 12 years for perjury and covering up the truth. Gordon died in custody before his own sentencing. Afterward, Vanessa asked to see me through the glass. She said she never meant for me to find out, and I told her I had finally learned not to be so naive. She cried, and for a moment I almost pitied her. But nothing could undo what she and Dylan had done. 6 months later, I bought a small farmhouse outside Portland, used Walter's inheritance to start the Bennett Hope Fund for women rebuilding their lives after betrayal, and welcomed my kids back into my life every weekend. I still pay rent on that old storage unit, empty now, as a reminder of where the old version of me died and the new one began. Walter was right. The truth cost me my peace before it gave me my freedom, but that freedom was worth every scar. I lost a husband, a sister, and nearly my sanity, but I gained clarity, purpose, and 2 children who know their mother never gave up. Because sometimes the ashes of your old life are not ruins at all. They are the soil where your new life quietly begins to grow.